Namaskar. I welcome all of you for this CTET online training program. And in this session, we are going to start a new chapter. Previous sessions we covered the living world in 4 parts. Now we are going to start about a new chapter, that is human physiology. Okay, so this is from paper 2 science. So in this human physiology we will be covering in 3 different parts. So for now we are going to start with part 1 of human physiology. So in part 1 we will be discussing about digestion and circulatory system. So we will see what are the questions that are raised in digestion and circulatory system, and what sub concepts they are covering. They are focusing more in CTET. So let us move forward. Before we move forward, I am K. Madhu. I am a research fellow from Regional Institute of Education, RIE, NCRT. So how does this session go forward? Okay, so what are we going to do in the next 45 minutes? How are we going to cover the concepts of circulatory system and digestive system? So this is how we are going to cover. So first we'll be discussing about digestive system. Then we'll move to circulatory system. We'll also discuss about the blood and blood groups in circulatory system. Then we'll move to previous year question. So whatever the concepts that we discuss with respect to digestive system and circulatory system, we'll be applying those concepts and clearing some previous year questions at the end. So first, before discussing concepts, so let us understand on what concepts they are focusing more in circulatory system and digestive system, and how questions are being asked in these 2 systems. Let us understand. So the most recurring questions are from arteries and veins. So we have blood vessels, right, in our circulatory system. So what are arteries, what are veins, what kind of blood arteries carry, what kind of blood veins carry. So the most, much of the focus was on the kind of blood arteries and veins carry. Okay, we'll also see the examples of previous year questions. Then most of the questions are also built on traps, like where digestion happens and where it doesn't happen. So the process of digestion, so we have alimentary canal in our body. So there are different parts in alimentary canal, in which parts digestion happens and which parts digestion doesn't happen. So the questions were from this aspect. So then few other types are assertion reasoning questions we'll do understand, but the concepts that they were touching are arteries and veins and the blood they carry, and with respect to the chambers of heart in the human heart, deoxygenated and oxygenated blood, and with respect to digestive system, parts of alimentary canal and the sites of digestion. So we'll see the left side. So respiration, how CO2 and O2 exchange happens. Then blood and blood vessels. So digestive organs and glands. So this is this is where the major focus was on previous year questions in CTET. So let us understand the different concepts which were repeatedly touched in CTET. The first and foremost concept is the digestive system. Okay, the components, one continuous journey. This is with respect to digestion. Yeah. So digestive system, there are 2 major components in digestive system. What do we have? We have an alimentary canal, then we have associated glands in it. So digestion happens in 2 components. Like it has 2 components. One is alimentary canal, where food physically moves from mouth to till anus, and there are associated glands. So in between at different parts, this alimentary canal possesses glands which digest the food, which are the major reason for digestion of food and digestion of different nutrients, like for example carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So let us understand these 2 components. So in esophagus, it starts from mouth. Alimentary canal starts from mouth and it ends at anus. Okay, so here only till large intestine it is given, so it is with respect to digestion process, whereas in anus it is just the removal of the undigested food. So from mouth it moves to esophagus, again esophagus to stomach, stomach to small intestine and large intestine. So this is how the food moves from starting. So it starts from mouth, okay, the digestion, absorption, all the process will complete in large intestine. The undigested food and the waste moves to anus. So this everybody knows and everybody is clear about it. And so what are the glands? So the major focus was on glands also, which gland secretes which enzyme, and which enzyme digests which component of food. There are three components, right? Carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So each component of food is digested by different enzymes. So we should be able to understand and remember which enzyme is for which component of the food. So carbohydrate, which enzyme, protein, which enzyme, and fats is digested by which enzyme. So these things we need to remember. So questions were based on these. So and there is one more confusion that CTET creates regarding digestion versus excretion. Okay, so these are the two terms which will be confusing for most of the CTET attempters. So we should know the difference between digestion and excretion. Digestion is something that happens through anus, where the undigested food is removed from the body. Okay, throughout the alimentary canal, food will be digested, and whatever the undigested food and other waste will be removed from the anus. That is called as digestion. What about excretion? Excretion is also removal of waste, but what kind of waste is it? So excretion, in excretion, it is the the metabolic waste. Okay, it is the metabolic waste. What do we mean by metabolic waste? The metabolic waste is a waste that is created from the metabolic activity of cells. So in our cells, lot of activities will be happening, lot of process will be happening. So the end product, the waste products that will come out of this metabolic process in cells is waste. Like for example, we have apart from the feces from the anus, we also release certain materials from outside our body, like urine. Okay, so urine also we release. That is one of the metabolic waste which is released by the cells. Then we do release sweat from our body. That is also one kind of excretion. And so these are two different excretions that will be happening. That is called as excretion. Whereas while undigested food is removed from the body, that is called as digestion. So this difference you should know well. Next, where starch digestion happens? Okay, we discussed how questions are being asked, which component of the food is digested, what are the different places digestion happens, and which are the places digestion doesn't happen. So these are the questions that were asked. So we'll understand how starch is digested and where it is digested. So starch digestion starts from the mouth, right? So we have a salivary glands in our mouth. So everybody knows. So we have 3 pairs of salivary glands, and they produce salivary enzymes. Okay, the enzymes are the glands are parotid, submandibular and sublingual. Okay, these secrete, what do they secrete? They secrete salivary amylase. This is the enzyme. Okay, so this enzyme starts digesting the starch into glucose. So this is where starch gets digested. It starts digesting. Okay, so again, to what it will be digested? Starch digested into maltose. It converts into maltose in the mouth. So no protein and fat digestion starts in the mouth. Please remember, no protein and fat digestion starts in the mouth. Okay, so it's only starch that gets digested. And we also remember there are 32 some facts you have to remember, because questions will also come from these kind of facts. Like we have 32 permanent teeth, Okay, again you should also remember the dental formula. Okay, this is the dental formula. Please remember, we have four types of teeth. Okay, what do we have? We have incisors. Okay, number one. Then we have canines. Then we have premolars. Then molars. So these are the four different teeth that we have, and this is the dental formula. Please remember the dental formula: how many incisors are there, how many canines are there, how many premolars are there, how many molars are there. Total 32. So in that, how many of these are there, we have to remember. Then so this is about starch digestion, where it happens and how it happens due to salivary amylase, and what helps in this digestion. It's also the mechanical digestion that happens inside the mouth. So there are two types of digestion. One is mechanical digestion, the other one is chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion is something that happens in the mouth when we break the food and chew the food, and we make it paste using our mouth. Parts of the mouth like teeth, and all. When we mechanically mash the food, that is mechanical digestion. And if the food is getting digested with the help of enzymes, okay, which comes from different glands, that is called as chemical digestion, where digestion happens in the presence of chemicals like enzymes. Okay, so this is what regarding digestion. So what about protein digestion? So we saw where starch starts getting digestion. What about protein? So protein will be getting digested in the stomach. Okay, so we have a muscular sac, J-shaped muscular sac, which have gastric juices in it. Okay, so what all stomach has? So once food enters into stomach has HCl, stomach has pepsin, it has renin, but renin mostly in infants only. Okay, remember, renin is only mostly in infants, but adults also will have renin, but very little. Okay, very little. And we do have lipase. So these are the four different juices that are secretions. So these four are secretions. So these four secretions will be released into the stomach, and these will help in digestion of protein and also some amount of fats. Okay, lipase helps in some amount of fat digestion. Okay, so this is, so HCl, what does HCl do? It is not an enzyme. Remember, HCl is not an enzyme. It is hydrochloric acid, which just helps to create the acidic medium. Okay, it helps to create acidic medium. Why acidic medium? For pepsin to get activated. Okay, it helps pepsin to get activated. Then only pepsin acts on proteins and starts digesting it. Okay, then lipase, to an extent, it will digest fats in the stomach. So you can see here, so HCl is for creating acidic pH, okay, and also killing all the bacteria, because it is whatever the bacteria that enters the mouth, the HCl will be killing it. Okay, it's pepsin. What does pepsin do in stomach? It converts protein into peptones. Okay, so digestion begins. Then renin, I said, in mostly in infants, because infants take milk, right? So milk has a protein called casein. Okay, milk will have a protein called casein, so renin will help for a better digestion of casein. So lipase for fats, you break down fats into glycerol and fatty acids. So this is what happens in stomach. So in stomach there are four secretions. One is HCl, then pepsin, then renin, and lipase. So renin is mostly in infants. It is produced in larger quantities in infants, whereas in adults it is little less. So what pepsin does? You can see on the screen. What lipase does, what HCl does. So HCl is not an enzyme. Please remember, there are questions from previous questions that is HCl an enzyme. They'll ask you to identify the digestive enzyme, and they'll give HCl also. So don't by mistake opt HCl. It is not an enzyme. It is just kills the bacteria from the food and it also creates the acidic medium required for pepsin activation. Okay, so protein digestion actually starts from the stomach, but it is not a complete digestion in the stomach. So in stomach there won't be complete digestion of even protein and even the fats. It just starts, okay, to an extent it will be done. So this is about stomach. Next we'll move to absorption, where absorption actually happens. So digestion happened, then digestion is completed in small intestine. I said just now that digestion is not complete in stomach, so digestion will be completed in the small intestine. There are a lot of secretions that are released into small intestine too, where the complete digestion of food takes place. All the components of food, that is carbohydrate, protein and fats, all these components will be completely digested only in small intestine. Only in small intestine the complete digestion takes place, and with the help of what? So what does the small intestine consists of to complete the digestion process? So they have intestinal juices. Okay, so it is site for complete digestion. Okay, all three macronutrients will be digested just now in small intestine. So it gets secretions from it has secretions like bile juice, okay, bile juice, pancreatic juice, mainly yes, these are the two secretions that are released into this small intestine. One is bile juice from liver and one more is pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Okay, they will be released into the duodenum part of small intestine. So small intestine is very large. You can see it is given here. So this fact also we have to remember, the length of the approximate length of the small intestine. Okay, it is 7.5 meters. So this 7.5 meters is divided into three parts. The first part is duodenum. So this is where the bile juice and pancreatic juice will be released, and that's where the complete digestion process start taking place. Okay, in small intestine. Whereas next we have large intestine. It is just 1.5 meters in length. Okay, it is just 1.5 meters in length. So what about then still why it is called as so small intestine is 7.5 meters and large intestine is 1.5 meters. Which one is the small? Large intestine. Then why do we call it as large intestine? Why do we call something with 7.5 meters as small intestine? The reason is small intestine is very narrow. Okay, it is not, the width is very small for large small intestine, whereas width in the large intestine is very big. So it is in terms of width, okay, in terms of the volume, in terms of the width, we are talking which one is larger and which one is smaller. Whereas in length, with respect to length, it is small intestine which is bigger in size. Okay, it is a large intestine which is smaller in size with respect to length. Okay, so whereas if you want, it is just 2.5 centimeters width will be there, okay, for small intestine, whereas it is almost 7 centimeters width. So this is the length. Okay, this is the length, this is width, I can say. Okay, so this is the concept behind small and large intestine. So complete digestion happens in small intestine. What all the juices or secretions that are released? It is bile juice from the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Okay, so and after that, even the absorption, we are talking about absorption here. So till now we spoke about digestion. So digestion is complete. After digestion, what happens? Absorption. Now the digested food will be taken to the bloodstream, and blood should circulate throughout the body so that each cell of our body utilizes this digested food for energy purpose. So where this absorption takes place? Even absorption also takes place inside small intestine only. It doesn't happen in large intestine. So there are questions to confuse you regarding which part of the alimentary canal will be absorbing the food. Okay, which of the following will absorb the food? And there are options like small intestine, large intestine, and stomach. All these will be given. So don't by mistake O for large intestine. So absorption means it is small intestine. And how small intestine absorbs the digested food? It is with the help of villi. So we all know that if this is the small intestine, the lining of the small intestine have a finger-like projections. Okay, it has finger-like projections called villi. Okay, they are called as villi. So these villi, these finger-like projections, okay, inside the inner lining of the small intestine, they start absorbing the food. And how they absorb? They have blood capillaries. Okay, these villi will have numerous blood capillaries through which, because of which the digested food directly enters into bloodstream and it will be circulated throughout our body. So these villi has finger-like structures. They are very thin. Okay, they are very thin, rich with capillaries. They absorb the nutrients from the digested food. So this is what about small intestine. So remember its length, because questions are asked on length, questions are asked on secretions in the small intestine, and secretions are asked about the absorption part of small intestine. Okay, which is the part in the small intestine that absorbs the food, that is villi. It is a finger-like structure. Then what happens in large intestine? So we all know that completion of digestion happens in small intestine. So what is left for large intestine? So in large intestine, absorption of water and mineral salts will takes place. So whatever the undigested food is there, from the undigested food, the large intestine absorbs all the mineral nutrients and the water content from the undigested food. Okay, so it forms feces stored in rectum and it is expelled through anus. So this is what happens. It is wider in nature. Okay, that is why it is large intestine, whereas small intestine is narrow. That is why it is small intestine. But with lengthwise, it is small intestine which is bigger. So small intestine via villi, okay, a large intestine. So the ratio is also given here. So this is what we need to remember with respect to small intestine and large intestine and with respect to absorption. So questions were there from these concepts in the previous years. That's why we are discussing these concepts. Then what does the secretions in the small intestine do? Okay, which components of the food are digested with the help of secretions in the small intestine? So small intestine receives secretions from where? It doesn't directly get all the secretions from inside. It receives secretions from two different parts. Okay, two different parts. So one is liver, okay, and one is pancreas. Okay, so liver has one more small pouch like structure. We all know that. So it is just for storing bile juice. So liver produces bile juice and it gets stored in gallbladder. Okay, and pancreas. So from these two places, small intestine receives secretions into duodenum part of small intestine. It is duodenum. Okay, not the other parts. Jejunum, ileum are also there. Okay, remember this also can be one of the question. So we have duodenum, okay, then jejunum, then ileum. So these are the three different parts. So the secretions are released into duodenum. So which question can be asked like, which among the following is a site in small intestine where secretions will be released? Is it duodenum? Is it jejunum? Is it ileum, or all of the above, or none of the above, something like that. So please remember it is duodenum. Then let us see which part of the which enzyme digests what. We already discussed about salivary glands. There are three pairs. So saliva, it produces salivary amylase. It converts starch into maltose inside the mouth. Then what about liver? It is the largest gland. Remember, it is the largest gland. So questions can be asked about which among the following is the largest gland, and you have to identify which will be the largest gland. So it produces bile juice. It is not an enzyme. Okay, remember, like HCl, this is also not enzyme. It is just a secretion released into duodenum, and also it is not a digestive enzyme. It doesn't help in digestion. Okay, it just helps in emulsifying of fats. okay, neutralizes acid and makes food alkaline. How the bile juice from the liver helps is, so it doesn't help in digestion, it aids for the digestion. How it aids for the digestion, how it helps in digestion is, it emulsifies the fats. So the larger molecules of fats will be converted into smaller smaller fat molecules into liquid form. They'll make large globular form fats into the the liquid form of fats. That's how it just breaks. That is not digestion, it is kind of mechanical digestion we can think of. Then it neutralizes acid. Where is the acid? In the small intestine. There is no there is no acid in small intestine. But then what is the need of for bile juice to neutralize the acid? So if we remember, the food in the stomach is acidic in nature because HCl is released to create an acidic medium for pepsin to act. So the food that is digested inside the stomach will be in acidic form. It will have acidic pH. So it directly comes to small intestine. So it is in acidic form. Okay. So that should be neutralized. So that will be neutralized by the bile juice. And it makes food alkaline. Okay. It makes food alkaline because why? The pancreatic juices are there, right? So if the pancreatic juices to be able to digest in the small intestine, they need alkaline medium. Whereas in stomach, the acidic acidic medium was required. Whereas in small intestine, for pancreatic juices, we need the alkaline medium, and that is done with the help of the bile juice. I hope you understood that. Please have a clarity on that. So bile juice is not an enzyme. Okay, it is just a secretion which does all these three purposes: emulsifying fats, making food alkaline, and neutralizing acid. So remember this. So these facts are very important. Questions were repeatedly asked from this. So please remember. So gallbladder is just a part of liver. Okay, so it just stores the bile juice. Okay, and releases into small intestine. Yeah, pancreas. So there are pancreatic juices like amylase, trypsin, lipase, and all. So lipase we discussed, it is for fat, and amylase for starch. Trypsin is for protein. Okay. So what are these three? Pancreas. So this is pancreas. So three different pancreatic juices it will release. So one is amylase. Next is trypsin, another is lipase. So amylase, remember salivary amylase. What does salivary amylase do? It starts digesting the carbohydrate, that is starch. Okay, here also this amylase which is released from the pancreas will complete the digestion of starch. Okay, then trypsin, same like pepsin in the stomach, trypsin completes the digestion of protein. What about lipase? Lipase in stomach, it started digesting fats, right, into glycerol and fatty acids. So in lipase from the pancreatic juice completely digests the fats. So very important, which is the enzyme, what it digests, and which component of the food it acts, from where it is released, okay, to where it is released. All these are facts that you need to remember, and this is where most of the questions will be asked from digestive system. Okay, so digest all three macronutrients in the intestine. Okay, pancreas completes the digestion. Pancreatic juices are the ones which complete the digestion in small intestine. So bile has no role in digestion. It aids for the digestion. It doesn't do digestion. Please remember that. So from plate to cell, so there are similar looking terms which will be given in CTET. So there shouldn't be any confusion for you. So from the time we take the food until it reaches to each cell in our body. So absorption takes place. Through absorption, the digested food and nutrients enter into the blood, and blood will distribute to each and every cell. So from plate to cell, what happens? So it is ingestion, okay, in taking of food. Egestion also we discussed. Digestion also we discussed. Okay, ingestion, taking of food. So once we intake the food, digestion happens. Then after digestion, absorption will takes place. After absorption, assimilation takes place. Then after assimilation, digestion will takes place. What about assimilation? Assimilation we didn't discuss, right? Assimilation is a process where our cells, cells will take up the nutrients from the bloodstream. So blood will be circulating and reaching all the parts of our body, each and every cell of our body. So these cells will collect the nutrients and utilize, okay, for their energy purposes. That is called as assimilation. So assimilation, absorbed nutrients are used by body cells for energy and growth. Digestion is not equal to excretion. Digestion is removing the feces, that is undigested food, from the body, whereas excretion is removing the metabolic waste like urine, okay, sweat. All these are metabolic waste which are produced inside the cells, okay, which are produced inside the cells. So both are waste only, but one waste is produced inside the cells, that is excretion. The other waste is from the food, undigested food, that is digestion. So please have a clarity on that. Then CTET pairs nutrient facts with digestion. Okay, so remember, CTET pairs nutrient facts with digestion. Okay, which one digests what, which nutrient, which enzyme will digest, where it is produced, what it will do, where it is secreted. All these kind of questions will be asked. So 4-chamber heart. So that is what about the digestive system. Okay, I hope you are clear. We have understood. We have discussed the major and important concepts from the CTET perspective. Okay, in the digestion process. Let us move to circulatory system. So heart, chambers, everything comes into circulatory system. So circulatory system, so remember this fact, it is William Henry in 1628 who accurately described blood circulation. Okay, circulation, that is from body to heart, heart to lungs. So this is the the whole process is accurately described by William Henry in 1628. He is also called as father of circulatory system. So remember that fact, and I hope everybody remembers the diagram of the heart. Okay, so what the left side of the heart and right side of the heart. What about the names of the top two chambers, below chambers? What what kind of blood will be received by up left side? What kind of blood will be received by right side? All these. So always remember, if okay, so heart, so there are 4 chambers here, so 2 up, 2 down. Okay, so you should always remember to which side the oxygenated blood is going, to which side deoxygenated blood is going. So questions will be based on this. So to which side oxygenated blood will be going? Is it right or left? So I'll just point out the right and left side here. So this is right and this is left. Okay, to which side? So remember, red. Okay, R means not red. R, okay, right side means R means not red. That means red color blood is oxygenated blood, whereas deoxygenated blood looks more blue in color, right? That's why when you see your veins, some of your veins will most of your veins will be blue in color, because they will be carrying deoxygenated blood. So red means, so R means definitely not red. Right side not red. Okay, that's how you remember. Left side of the body, left side of the heart, okay, that will be dealing with the oxygenated blood. So this is right atrium, okay, then right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. So this is how it happens. So right atrium, What does it do? It receives deoxygenated blood. As I said, it is not red, so it receives blue color blood, deoxygenated. So right atrium, so it receives deoxygenated blood. Okay, deoxygenated blood. It will send to right atrium, right ventricle. From right ventricle, it will go to where? Deoxygenated blood. It should go to lungs because it should be oxygenated. Whereas again from lungs, it is left left atrium that receives oxygenated blood. So let us see here, don't get confused with the diagram. So left atrium is the one, left side will be oxygenated blood, remember. Right side will be the deoxygenated blood. So atrium, the top one, receives deoxygenated blood, send it to the send it to left atrium, right ventricle, then from left atrium to left ventricle. So this is how blood moves. So ventricle pumps right ventricle, right side deoxygenated blood. Again left means oxygenated blood. So left is oxygenated, right is deoxygenated. So that's how you remember. So right means definitely not red. If not red, that is deoxygenated blood. That is one trick you can have, you can remember. So this is about the chambers, different chambers, and what kind of blood they carry. Okay, so lub-dub sound is from the valves. Okay, it's not due to the contraction of heart muscles, it is due to the valves. Then BP, okay, these facts you remember. Then two complete circuits per heartbeat. Okay, how blood moves from one, from body to heart, and in heart, from which part to which part it will move. That is this one important thing with respect to heart. Okay, pulmonary. Okay, from body to right atrium. Okay, right means not red. Okay, right means not red. So it is definitely deoxygenated blood. So from right atrium, it will go to right ventricle down. Then through pulmonary artery, it will go to lungs. So it is given here oxygenation. So if blood is going to lungs means what does it mean? Why will blood go to lungs? Only if there is a necessity for oxygenation, because the exchange of gases takes place at the lungs and the blood will be oxygenated at the lungs itself. The deoxygenated blood will go to lungs, and there the oxygenation of blood takes place. So right atrium, right ventricle. Okay, so from body it will go to right atrium, then right ventricle, so this is right side, this is left side. So from body, okay, this is heart, so it will go to right side. From body, if it is going to heart, that means it is deoxygenated blood. Okay, so right atrium it will go, from there it will come to right ventricle, then it will go to heart. Okay, that's how you should remember, left atrium, left ventricle. Okay, so if blood is coming from lungs to heart means, if blood is coming from lungs to heart, sorry, these are lungs. Small confusion, I'm sorry. These are lungs. If blood is going from lungs to heart, what kind of blood will be going from lungs to heart? It is oxygenated blood, and if it will be going to the left side of it. So left atrium, from left atrium it will go to left ventricle, from there it will go to body. So that is what you should remember. In systemic, there are two circuits, pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. So from lungs, it will go to pulmonary vein, from pulmonary vein to left atrium. Okay, left means oxygenated blood, and left ventricle, again left, then from aorta it will go to all the body parts. If the blood is going from heart to all the body parts, what kind of blood will go to all the body parts from heart? It is oxygenated blood. Okay, that's so please remember this. Please go through the heart diagram with respect to which one is right atrium, which one is right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. But always remember, please, if you can remember with this trick, right side means not red. Right is not definitely red. Okay, yeah. So always arteries. Okay, Always arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry arteries and veins. We have two types of blood vessels, right? Arteries carry oxygenated blood, okay, and veins carry deoxygenated blood, the blue color blood. But there is only one exception. Morning also, in the previous sessions also we were discussing, CTET will focus on the exceptions. So there is pulmonary artery. Okay, arteries actually, will have oxygenated blood. They circulate oxygenated blood, but only pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, and all the veins carry deoxygenated blood, whereas pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood. So lungs to heart. So this exceptions you have to remember. Then arteries, veins, and capillaries. One type and two types. So two types of veins we have: arteries and veins, and capillaries. Capillaries are very small, blood vessels at the tissue level. Okay. So arteries usually oxygenated blood. Okay. So veins, it's usually deoxygenated blood. But only the exception is pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins. Complete, opposite. Pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein are opposite. Please remember, so all arteries carry oxygenated blood, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. But the exception is only pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein does exactly opposite here. Then capillaries, arterioles or to venules. So one cell thickness, very thin, okay, very thin. They are site for exchange of O2 and CO2. So from body parts, deoxygenated blood means it is, the blood which have more CO2. Okay, that will be collected and O2 blood will be released to the cells. So arteries have thick cell walls, elastic walls. Okay, we said arteries have oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means they will be carrying from heart to body parts. So if blood is going from heart to body parts, it is of high pressure. Okay, because it has to push it. Okay, it has to push it to almost each and every corner of our body, each and every cell of our body. So the pressure should be applied more. Okay, so if there is high pressure in the in the vessel, in the blood vessel, what should be the thickness of the walls of those vessels? They should be thick, very thick. Okay, so deoxygenated blood will be coming from body parts to heart. So these won't have high pressure. So since there is no high pressure, so their walls will be thin in nature. Okay, this also you remember. Then let us understand the fluid connective tissue. What is the fluid connective tissue? Okay, the blood itself. So pH 7.4. So the blood, in the blood, the 55% is the fluid part of the blood. Okay, it consists of plasma, whereas 45% will be consist of blood cells. What does this blood consist of? RBC, okay, WBC, and platelets. So among blood cells there are three types: RBC, red blood cells; WBC, white blood cells; and platelets. So these three will compose blood cells up to 45%. Then the rest of 55% will be just plasma, the fluid part of the blood. So these are RBC, WBC, and platelets. So we should also remember the functions of these blood cells, because questions will be asked regarding functions of the different types of blood cells also. So what do RBCs do? They carry hemoglobin. Okay, they carry hemoglobin in the blood. Hemoglobin is a pigment, okay, which will provide red color to the this thing, and they carry hemoglobin. RBCs will have hemoglobin pigment and they carry O2 to different places in our body. Then WBCs, they are also called as leukocytes. Okay, what do? They engulf pathogens and they act as body's defense. WBC is our immune system, immune cells. They engulf and kill the foreign organisms and help us to stay healthy. Then platelets are the thrombocytes. They are called as thrombocytes. So wherever there are cuts, these platelets are the ones to go first and cover and stop the bleeding process. Okay, so these are the functions of the blood cells, the three different blood cells. So if they give erythrocytes or RBC, it is same. Okay, leukocytes or WBC, it is same. Thrombocytes are platelets. So remember these terms properly. So the ABO blood group and rhesus system, the blood grouping, how many blood groups are there, which antibody antigens will be there in which blood type, all this is discovered by Carl Landsteiner. Okay, he is the one. So he got Nobel Prize in 1930 for coming up with the blood groups, different blood groups. So remember two major facts here. Group O, okay, blood group O is a universal donor. Okay, and AB group is a universal, O positive is the universal acceptor. O gives to all, AB takes from all. Sorry, universal receptor is AB, right? AB takes from all. So blood is a fluid connected tissue. So please remember these factors, and yeah, common mistakes we do. So please remember, peristalsis is not gravity. So when peristalsis is not gravity means we know that food travels from esophagus, right? So this is stomach. Okay, so food moves from top to bottom. So it is not due to gravity. It is due to peristalsis. Peristalsis is the contraction of esophagus. Okay. It is contraction of esophagus. It is not due to gravity. So mistakes will be done there. So don't confuse that food will be coming down to stomach because of gravity. HCl is not an acid. Pulmonary artery is equal to deoxygenated blood. Not all arteries carry oxygenated blood. No villi in large intestine. Okay, it's only present in small intestine. Arteries is equals to high pressure because they carry oxygenated blood to different parts of the body. Bile juice has no enzymes. So let us see a few previous year questions from this concept that we discussed. I hope I covered more content, but then let us understand how questions are questions were presented in CTET paper with respect to these concepts. So which set of organs does not carry out any digestive function? So they are asking which organs does not carry out any digestive function. So they gave options. So first option is esophagus, buccal cavity, large intestine. So definitely we know it is not esophagus, which doesn't carry, but then buccal cavity and large intestine, buccal cavity does. Okay, so small intestine, large intestine, rectum is one place. So rectum is not the place where digestion happens. Then it happens in small intestine, large intestine. Esophagus no, but buccal cavity yes. Then esophagus, large intestine and rectum. So these are the three places where digestion doesn't happen. All three places digestion won't happen. So fourth one is right. Then we'll move to the next question. Swallowed food moves downward in alimentary canal because of the swallowed food moves through esophagus and it reaches stomach. It is due to what they are asking. Is it contraction of food pipe muscles? Is it because of flow of fluids taken with food? Is it because of gravitational pull, or is it because of force of muscular turn? It is because of, just now we discussed, it is not the gravity but peristaltic movement. So all these three are wrong, whereas it is because of contraction of muscles. Then which statement about veins is true? Okay, which statement about veins is true? We should remember what they carry and what kind of blood they carry. So all veins carry O2 rich blood. Is it veins have thin walls? Is it veins carry blood from organs to heart? Is it all of the above? It is veins have thin walls. We discussed veins carry carbon, the deoxygenated blood, but only pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. Okay, so the first one is it's incomplete. All veins carry CO2 rich blood, but only pulmonary vein, exception is there. We talked about exceptions. So pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. So that is also wrong. This is wrong. So the correct one is second one. Which statement about arteries is not true? They are asking about arteries now, which is not true about arteries. So we discussed that arteries carry, almost all the arteries carry oxygenated blood, but there is one exception, that pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. So let us see the options now. So which is not true? Is it arteries have elastic walls? Option 2, all arteries carry oxygen rich food, oxygen rich blood. And option 3, arteries carry blood from heart to organs. Option 4, arteries have thick walls. The option is the second one. Okay, all arteries carry oxygen rich blood. No. Okay, all arteries doesn't carry. There is one pulmonary artery which carries deoxygenated blood. So these two are talking about exception. These two questions are related to the exceptions. Then next question, WBC helps fight diseases. WBC can change its shape. Okay, the question is assertion reasoning question. So assertion is WBC helps fight diseases in organisms, and reason is the WBC can change its shape. Yes, both are true, because WBC engulfs and it does phagocytosis. So both are right. So both are correct. The reason explains the assertion. Others are wrong. Okay. Then next question from 2024. Arteries have thick elastic walls. Blood pressure in arteries is low. Okay, remember this. Arteries have thick elastic walls. The reason is blood pressure in arteries is low. They are saying there are thick elastic walls, but blood pressure is low. So it is wrong. Definitely arteries have thick elastic walls, but they have high blood pressure. So which one is right? Option 4 is right. Okay. So these are few things you remember, the few facts which are continuously and repeatedly tested in most of the CTET years. So starch in the mouth, protein in the stomach. So starch starts getting digested in mouth, whereas protein in stomach. Absorption happens in intestine, small intestines villi. Then bile juice is not an enzyme. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, and pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. Arteries have high pressure and thick. Universal donor is O positive, O. AB is the universal recipient. So this is about the circulatory system and digestive system, and where CTET was focusing more, and how questions are being asked. Okay, so these are the areas in circulatory system and digestive system CTET was focusing more. So prepare accordingly, focus more on these concepts. So this is part 1 of the physiology that we discussed now about 2 systems, and rest of the systems like respiratory system, excretory system, nervous system, those will be covering in the upcoming parts of human physiology. So with this we'll conclude this session. Thank you.